Welcome to the 251. I'm your host, Nigel Ashford, and here joining us this week's 251 panelists. And this week we're talking about online dating apps and ways to connect with other people through social media, like through Messenger or DMing. All right, guys, now this is gonna be a fun topic because I know a lot of you do it. I mean, sometimes I have it done to me, and I won't lie, sometimes I do it too. And do you guys ever use Instagram or Facebook or anything like that to message a person privately for dating reasons, or if you're interested in them?
I did when I was a little kid. I said that relatively. I said that relatively. When I was like 13 or 14, okay. I probably would have. But now, I don't know. I don't really see the person-to-person interaction that would be what I'm going for in the first place.
So you're like me, old school. Like, oh my gosh, we pick up the same coffee and we look up at each other and we're like. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I don't feel like many people like. Facebook is just sort of moving the way of adults, you know, like I don't none of my teenager friends really use Facebook that much anymore.
It's more like your grandma.
Yeah. So normally if you'd want to do that and you haven't met the person, I would just get their number from somebody and then just text them.
But what about if they're in a different city but it's close by, or if it's a different state and it's driving distance?
I might not even pursue it then.
Really?
You know? I mean they're in a different state, so I mean it's just. I don't know. For me personally, it'd be too far away.
Now, what about Snapchat? Like when people have their videos and they're like, "Oh, I viewed that video," and then they send you a video like, "Hey, what's up?" or something like that. Do you guys ever respond to those?
No.
She's like, "Wait."
I would say only if I felt. It depends on how it goes about. And I felt it was weird. I have to think about, should I respond or should I not? Sometimes I don't respond, so yeah.
What about any of you?
I just sort of look at it and I'm like, oh, that's cute, and then I just sort of go on with my day, you know. I mean, honestly, I don't really get that many Snapchats like that, so I just sort of, I'm like, oh, it's probably a prank. Then I move on.
Where's the self-confidence?
5 years ago.
Okay, so going off what you said, do you feel like we're moving more to a viral age of getting to know someone? Like, for instance, when we go online and we filter things out, like, I want this person to be this height, this race, or this size, or I want them to have these color eyes, this color hair. I want them to do this, this, and this, and make between this and this amount of income.
You can't be picky, because you're not going to get anything that way. Because, I mean, if you've got certain things that they want, or that you want, then, I mean, they either have one thing or the other, and then you're still not happy, so, I mean, you're just alone.
But that's what they have, and that's how they're matching it.
And then, well, sometimes you can't go off of the picture of what they, it's the truth, you can't go off of what they look like from the picture. You have to get the real deal.
The real deal.
People just edit too much these days.
Yeah, people edit too much these days.
And lying doesn't take much effort. I mean, if you really just want to make yourself out to be like someone who makes six figures or something like that, I mean, you can do that. And I think that with online dating, you know, have you seen the show Catfished? Like, I think that happens, maybe not on that scale, but I think it happens a pretty good bit, just where someone will throw in a little bit of something in their bio that's not really true, just to attract more people.
So have you guys ever met someone who messaged you and you guys have longer conversations, or actually clicked on a friendly level till you feel that, okay, this person is not crazy, I feel like I can probably trust them to just message them?
That's how my relationship started.
Oh, that's sweet. See, I mean, he's a living testimony. Okay, tell me more about yours.
We met through, me and her best friend used to be friends, like we grew up together. And then we started talking on Instagram. And then I told her she was cute, and then we just started talking, and we got together like 3 days later.
Is she in the city?
She's in this building, actually.
She's my best friend.
Oh.
But it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
But do you feel like without social media that you guys would have really connected?
No.
Really?
Wait, what? We wouldn't have connected, no.
So, how do you think people are using it in a negative way, like in getting to know like men or women
Well,
or?
Well, I'll counter Tommy's example then with one of my own. So this was about 3 years ago, and my older sister had a friend that had a sister that was about my age, and we started talking. Well, I say talk. We were texting, and this went on for months because we went to different schools. We were one grade apart from each other. So when we actually met up in real life, it was so awkward because it's not like they weren't the person that you were texting, but when you text them, you give them a certain voice and a certain like way of doing. I mean, you have a certain perception of them in your mind, and when you see them in real life, they might not be that way.
Can I do an example?
Sure, go ahead.
So let's say you guys were talking about politics, and you guys are just texting back and forth, and then you meet her in person, and her name was Jessica, and she was like, so what do you think about who's running? I don't know. What do you think about who? I don't know. What do you think about the presidential candidate? Who?
Yeah. Well,
is it
yeah,
like that?
Yeah. Because with texting, you have time to you have time to formulate your response.
Or Google it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that happened. Someone texted me. She was like, "Do you know what this word means?" And I looked it up, and then I was like, "Yes, I do know what this means. I just figured it out." So yeah, I think that's a huge thing that happens whenever people message or text or whatever, is that they have time to make themselves seem smart, whereas in person they might not be able to think off the cuff like that.
Okay. Going off what you're saying, do you feel like when you guys first meet, like when you say you have time to text, but when you first meet and you vibe, is it sometimes a big letdown that this person is not how I thought it was going to be, that we communicated so well here, but personality-wise, I can't stay 5 minutes with this person?
Yeah, I mean, it's a letdown for sure. I don't really know what way to alleviate that, I guess. I mean, sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes you're click with them in person, but over text they're really stale. Every other response is just yeah, okay, and you don't really know how to handle that.
So where do you think the communication is going these days? Like, since we're going to, like, for instance, everybody's switching through the messenger or stuff like that, or DMs. Do you think everybody's gonna still have those communication systems? Like, I'm gonna go up to this person and say, hey, I'm not gonna find them on Facebook and say, oh, that's so-and-so's name. Let me drop them a message and then we'll meet, because walking 6 feet over there, something's wrong with that.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Well,
I don't do that.
Okay. That, I guess that's the thing of social media, is that like you can see someone from school that you've never talked to before and know their name and like a ton about them. But when you see, it's weird when you see them at school, you know what their name is, but you have to pretend that you don't know them at all, because otherwise they're gonna know that you just looked them up on social media. Like, I know a ton of people's names at this school, and I haven't talked to half of them. So it's like, so every time I meet them, I have to pretend like I've never met them before or seen them in my life, even though I know their names and what they posted yesterday.
Okay, we're gonna come back to that, because I want to ask so many more questions.
Am I the only one that's like that?
No, I'm like that too.
Okay, we're gonna come back to that, because I want to ask so many questions.
Sure. I might be the only one. I don't know.
But after this break, we're gonna come back to that and also talk about the dangers of meeting up with people as well. Stay tuned. We'll be right back to the 251.
Open up your books to page 360.
Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Talking about inspirational quotes.
You gotta believe in yourself. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchool.com.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Welcome back to the 251. Now, we were talking about you looking at people who you found interesting, but you got to act like you don't know them.
It's
because
everyone. It's
that's
not just
weird.
me.
Okay,
I
everyone.
might. I
Yeah,
mean,
she did agree with you.
Yeah.
Am I
she
alone
did,
in this?
She did
No.
agree with you.
Okay.
But they did. But okay, so what did you mean by that? You have to. I mean, that's a lot of work. I mean, I know
Yeah.
it's weird because you don't want to come off as, I saw your picture on social media, and then they'll be like,
Yeah.
okay. But I understand what you mean, but elaborate more on that.
Well, I guess person to person, little social quirks that we have is way different than it would be online. So like, if I see someone online and I learn their name and a little bit about them, I meet them in real life. I have to pretend I don't know them, and they have to pretend that they don't know me. Even though if I told them like, hey, I saw your picture on Instagram, they might be a little bit flattered, but they have to act like they're weirded out. So it's weird.
Where is
like that.
the mystery? Where is the fun of getting to know the person, or, seeing what they're all about and discovering the surface on your own through talking?
I don't think people like that anymore because usually when it's over social media or text, then they ask for stuff, and then you either say no or yes, and if you say no, you don't hear from them ever again.
Yeah.
Which is usually what you should do.
Okay, but what's the difference between that and when you get on the dating websites and you pick what you want? You're basically saying yes or no, but in specifics.
You still can't trust dating websites either because it could be somebody that found a picture on Google, put it up as a profile picture. Exactly. And it could be some creepy 50-year-old guy, and you're like 20-something.
Or it could turn out to be your uncle. You never know.
That's happened.
Or it could turn out to be the love of your life. Those are the chances you take in the dating world.
So, okay, how far are you guys willing to go to take these chances? Going off of that, like with catfishing a person, have you guys ever been catfished before?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, tell me about your experience.
Okay, so I was on Instagram, and this guy followed me, and I mean, he's the perfect guy. He's tan, he's built, he's got the brown hair, the blue eyes, and he's got one picture. And then he direct messaged me right after he started following me, and he was like, hey, I was like, I don't know you. And
But
then,
you were like,
yeah, but I'm like, you're cute. So I was like, send me another picture, because he only had one picture. I was like, send me another picture. It's this 12-year-old kid with brown flippy hair, braces, the big old ears, and the nose.
You got catfished by a kid.
It was a 12-year-old, yeah.
When was that?
Like a year ago.
You're like borderline on the pedophile.
I didn't know after that. I was like, no.
No, don't do it. Okay.
I personally have never been catfished, and I
You
wouldn't.
will. It's okay.
I wouldn't take that chance of going on a dating website to find my person, because I'm just that type of person. I want to meet you in person, like get to know you in person, not online. It's just
that's not the story you really want to tell your kids either.
Yeah,
it's like
weird.
I feel like a lot more people are going to be telling their kids, I met my mom, I met
well,
your mom.
these days,
That's
a
what
lot
both
of
my mom
people
you know,
are into their kids.
you should be making like a romantic comedy together, with the person you're gonna marry. So, like, my
He's
dad.
such romantic, isn't he?
I mean, my dad memorized my mom's number from like 10 feet away because his friend wasn't gonna let him get it at all because they were both trying to go out with her. So I think that's a little bit more romantic than
That is,
than
but
you
look
know.
at her, she's
Oh, I
like,
messaged her on
yeah,
Facebook.
That sounds better than my DM.
I don't want to tell my kids.
I'm not gonna be like, oh, I met your mom through her best friend on Instagram. I'm gonna be like, oh, we met at the racetrack or something. Like, you never know.
Yeah, I'm a romantic. I want
Is that
the coffee
embarrassing?
What, that we met on Instagram?
Yeah, is to say that you met on
It's
social
not
media?
embarrassing, but I don't want it to sound like it's just the basic story that everyone else has. I want it to be something different.
There's no fun with that.
But with catfishing, like I feel like it's really easy to tell. But if they only have one picture, if they have like 4,000 followers and then like 4,000 following and then like 3 followers and 1 picture, I'm like, nope. Like that's like I don't know. You can almost always tell. I feel like.
Okay, going off of your fear, are you guys in fear of getting hurt?
Yeah.
Especially at a young age. Like, would you ever tell your parents, hey, I'm going to go visit somebody, or this is going to be happening? Or would you tell your friends, like, hey, just sit over there in the corner just in case this 6'9", 300-pound man might come in a black coat and a hat and take me away.
Yeah, I would probably do that.
I've had to be that person in the corner a couple times.
I've had to be the person in the black coat a couple times too. So.
Okay, going off of that, like for instance, did you guys know Craigslist? It had a personal section. Mm-hmm. And you can look for things or people. And I know people were going on dates and they were calling the man the Craigslist killer. Like he was perfect. They'll meet him, they'll go on dates with him, and then after it, after that, like, are you guys afraid that you might meet Mr. Perfect like that, and then all of a sudden, I'm not trying to scare you, but I'm just.
I mean, I don't know. I guess there's risks in everything you do in your life. I mean, every time you get into a car, that's a risk. So I mean, you have to know that there's a certain level of danger to everything you do, I guess. And I mean, if you're really willing to pursue a relationship or something, I mean, you got to be smart about it, but I mean, just understand what might happen, I guess, if you take that route.
Yeah, you always have to be cautious of anything you're doing, whether it's trying to date online or get into a car with somebody.
So how do you go about that, being cautious and taking precautions?
Yeah.
How do you go about doing that?
Avoid it altogether.
Yeah, just don't do it.
Movies scary.
Yeah, I watch movies, so I know what to look for. And my mom watches
Lifetime.
ID channels.
Stuff like that happens on Lifetime movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lifetime saved your life.
Lifetime does save my life.
Okay, so what about the different settings you have or background checks that you might go through? Because I know a lot of people, if they like someone and they find them interesting, they go through background check, even if you're meeting them in person. Like they go through, okay, they know where their parents work, they find out how much their parents make, they found out where they're from in the city, the third grade photo they took, and or, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you guys go about or finding out if this person is true or not?
I ask around, talk to friends, see what they know. Like, she was one of the first ones I talked to about Emily, because, like, honestly, like,
is your friend real?
Yeah, I was like, no, is she, like, as cool as she, like, is she, like, adds up to be, and is everything real? Because, like, I was scared at first. Like, I fell pretty hard for her. And then I was scared at first, like, after, like, 2 weeks, I was scared she was going to dump me. And then we're still together now, so everything worked out pretty good.
Oh, that's sweet. Like, I mean, doesn't he just give you hope? And then he just give you reality? All right, guys, we're going to go on a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back to the 251 and talk back with our 251 panelists. Stay tuned.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund Reading.
No.
Let me try. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out words.
Playing world music.
What?
I give up.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
All right, welcome back to the 251. Now we're reaching to the end of the show, and I want to ask you guys a few questions, and I want to hear from each of you what you think. How do you think the world will change when it comes to dating, probably in the next 15 or 20 years? I'm going to start with you.
I don't know. I think it's just sort of hard to foresee things like that. You know, dating didn't really exist 100 years ago. You know, back then it was courting, and you were just gonna get married. Like that was the thing. So I guess you know, you may have started out with arranged marriages 1,000 years ago, and then slowly progressed to something more lax as a culture. So I think within the next several years, things will just become more and more lax. You know, I mean, people will become more casual about dating and breaking up. You know, they might not even call it dating. So I guess with online things, it just will cause the whole dating culture to become more
But how can you get more
opinionated,
relaxed than what it is now?
I think it'll happen, honestly. I mean, the fact that we you know still have in a relationship as a Facebook status, you know, I think that might go away at some point. You know, you won't even call it being in a relationship. You're just going together or something. You know, I don't know. Or maybe it'll reverse. Maybe we'll go back to courting.
Gotcha. Or arranged marriages.
Yeah, maybe that.
I would go off of what he said. You know, it may be now, like we were talking about before on the online dating, it may be of more of like a technology thing, like where we meet people offline, or it may just, the online thing may decrease.
Or you might have an online date.
Yeah.
Where you guys just
simulator.
Yeah.
Eat
dinner online.
Online, let's say so. How's your food? It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Would you like some? And just act like you're feeding it through the screen. But I'm sorry, continue.
Well, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of like a romantic. I like the old-fashioned way.
She was like, I'm the 50s girl.
Yeah, I do. I like the real dates. Like you go out, you meet somebody. Oh, you're cute. You start talking, and then like, you want to go out tonight? Yeah. I mean, I don't like the whole online thing. There's nothing sweet or romantic about that. And then sometimes you'll have a connection online, and you get all these fantasies and dreams in your head about him and you, and then you meet in person, and it's not like that.
Be disappointed.
Yeah, like you were talking about, you can't stand them. I don't want that. I want to know, like, I want to do it straightforward. We have a connection, or we don't. Not the whole leading into something that's not there.
That is true. That is really true. And then you actually know the person's real.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'm with her. Like, I like the whole romantic, older style thing. But yeah, I did meet my girlfriend through online. But like after the first date, which was quite awkward, we finally got more relaxed and got used to everything. And it was like, hey, you want to go do this tonight? And so we just started hanging out a lot. And then we've just all been uphill from there.
Okay, now, do you guys think the divorce rate will increase or decrease due to online dating?
Yes.
That's a good question.
Increase.
Increase?
I
Why do you
think
say
it
increase?
Because, like, most people, when they get divorced, they're either not happy or they get divorced because they cheat because they're not happy. Well, if there's online dating and you're married, there's so many ways you could just sneak around and her never know. Especially with all these hiding apps that they have, like a calculator. They use the calculator app to hide pictures. So it looks like a calculator, but there's really pictures in it.
Okay.
And it's so easy to do that, and she'd never know.
I didn't know that.
And I know they have like a website where they had just for cheating, and that was just revealed. And it was famous, especially famous politicians who were on there, and a lot of their names got released. And that was just a huge scandal. But okay, I see where you're going. And you said decrease.
No, I said it would increase.
Increase. Why do you think it would increase?
Well, going off of what she said, if you meet someone online and y'all get married, and then like what we were talking about before, when that marriage progresses and you find out that this person is crazy, and you get a divorce.
Hope that you find out he's crazy after he puts a ring on it. But you know what? Continue. I'm here.
I mean, that could happen eventually. So, yeah.
What about you guys?
I think divorce rates, I guess, depend on a lot of things, but if we were looking just solely at online dating, I would say it might increase, because I think that online dating gives us ideals. You see like, and none of it's ever really real. You might see the person you're married to or you're dating, and they're great, but of course they have flaws, because everyone does. And you look at these people online and they're just perfect. So I think that leads to just sort of a separation between how you feel like your significant other should be and how they actually are, that will only lead to more division. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
I think it's going to increase, because honestly, most girls these days, they'll feel like, oh, I love this guy, I like this guy, blah, 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 and they're just in it for the money. And then they find out this guy ain't got any money, so they can't take his credit card out to the stores or whatever. And they're, oh, I'm done with you.
Made
You
a
can move
whole
on. I'll go find someone
like
else.
scenario.
So you're saying she's a gold digger?
Most girls these days are.
Okay.
They are.
Okay.
For real life of it.
How would you make online dating better?
I'd end it.
But you
Yeah.
found
You wouldn't- you
your
wouldn't be
person,
dating.
though.
Well, after, when we got together, I would end it.
So okay.
I would use it to get what I want, and then I would stop it. Is that what you said?
Basically, but like I don't fully approve of, like, we met and then we hung out and then we got together, but like we didn't start dating. Like I asked her out like in person.
It's good Well, I don't know. I mean, I would keep it around because it works for some people. You know, like, I mean, there are people out there that really meet the person that they love, you know, online. So if I just decided to get rid of it, I mean, I think that would be unfair to the people that it works for.
How would you change it?
I don't know. I mean, it honestly seems to be working sort of well now. I mean, if you don't like it, you don't necessarily have to
use it. What about you guys?
What he said, it would, I mean, I personally don't agree with online dating, but I wouldn't say to get rid of it because it does work for a lot of people who may not have like a friend to like hook them up with somebody, you know. So, I mean, you could improve it in some ways or just keep it the way it is.
Okay. And last but not least.
Well, I don't necessarily like it either, but I mean, like they said, it does work for some people because sometimes you can say stuff over text, over message that you can't say in person. Like either you're too shy, too scared, too whatever to say it in person, so it's just easier to tell them and explain how you feel over messaging. But it does work for some people, but I still don't like it. I don't think you can really change it.
Okay.
Now that you say that, I kind of rethink my answer. Like, yeah, it does work for some people. Like, some people do get married.
Because he was like
from it.
obliterated.
Yeah. I'm changing my answer. I think we should keep it around, but like, it needs to be more like watched over because a lot of people things do happen to a lot of people because of online dating, but at the same time, a lot of people still do find the love of their life.
It's dangerous.
It is dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
Okay, all right. Thank you guys so much for being my 251 panelists this week. I really enjoyed you. The romantic, the 50s girl, the tell it how it is, and
the realist.
It's fine. I mean, no one else can do it either, so.
He was like, I will play the role. All right, guys, thank you so much. And thank you for watching the 251. Join us next week for our next 251 show.